Hey, the boss wants us to add music to this video.
What?
Yeah, he wants music in it, and I'm not a musician or anything. I don't know how to do that.
Ah, easy, bro. Just do what I do. YouTube to MP3. That's it. Easy.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey! That's copyright infringement! Going against copyright law can have serious consequences for professional content creators, but many students don't fully understand it. So to help those students feel less frightened and less confused about copyright law, we've put together some basic guidelines to follow. Please note that the guidelines in this video only focus on copyright law for the United States. So if you work with content in other countries, be sure to do your own research on how their laws are different from the laws of the United States. Guideline 1. Every piece of media that has been physically created is protected by copyright. According to the United States Copyright Office, your work is under copyright protection the moment it is created and fixed in a tangible form. Whether you're writing, drawing, creating stuff with software, or any other medium, if it's your original work and you can show it to someone else, that work is automatically copyrighted. And this is true for everyone. But what about ideas? Are they protected by copyright? Only if they have been written down, pictured, or captured in some way, making them tangible. Remember that copyright can't apply to non-tangible items like feelings and ideas. That means that it is okay to get inspiration from other works of media, as long as you aren't copying them directly. The more you add your own originality into a piece, the safer it will be from being viewed as a copy. Guideline 2. Only the creator of a specific work owns the copyright for that work. If you've just made something new, congratulations! You are now the only person allowed to make copies of it, sell it, upload it to stock media sites, give it away, or use it for other projects. All of us are entitled to these same rights whenever we create original work, so it's important that we respect those rights by only copying or using media that we don't own when we have permission. How do I get permission, you may ask? Great question. Guideline 3. You can get permission to use someone else's copyrighted work by purchasing licenses and giving proper attribution on a case-by-case basis. Some content creators and publishers offer contracts, called licenses, which allow other people to use their work in certain ways. These licensing agreements may require you to make a one-time purchase, or they may require you to pay royalties, which are recurring fees, for every time you successfully sell or distribute your product that has been licensed to include the original creator's work. The price, payment type, accepted methods of distribution, expiration date, and any other conditions of the license will be set by the person offering it in each situation. Be aware that just because an asset or a website is marked as royalty-free, that doesn't make it copyright-free. In those cases, the site owner will still have specific rules you need to follow in order to respect their ownership of the content they are distributing. One of those rules is giving proper attribution to the content creator whenever you use their work. This is always a good idea, but some sources of stock media may not require it. Check if this is the case by reading the rules for that website or creator. Guideline 4. Never take credit or ownership for work that you didn't do. That's called plagiarism, and it is extremely dishonest. Whenever you directly quote a book or a paper, etc. for academic purposes, cite the author properly, because if you don't, you are copying their work without the right to do so. The same way, we need permission to use people's content. Correctly citing our sources gives us permission to use other people's words. Guideline 5. Only use trusted internet sites for stock photos and other assets. Websites like Unsplash and Toontank may offer high-quality stock media for free, but how do you know that the people who uploaded those assets are the same people who originally created them? Remember, only the copyright holder is allowed to post their work on free stock sites like these. So, if a bad actor were to break copyright law by uploading the work of someone else to one of these sites, any person who unknowingly goes on to download and use that work could get in trouble for it, even though they weren't trying to do anything wrong. The simplest way to avoid this problem is to use sites that require you to purchase access to their stock media. Websites that sell assets are more likely to properly check all of the media they offer for copyright issues. Furthermore, paying money for stock media proves to others that you are trying your best to do things in a fair, ethical way. This gives you a strong legal defense if the assets you bought are ever found to not be the property of the person who uploaded them. If you do use assets that were downloaded for free, Do the research necessary to verify that the person who uploaded them is the person who owns them. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting tangled up in someone else's copyright infringement. Lastly, no matter where you get your stock media from, there will be specific rules on how you can use that media. Pay close attention to the terms and services for each website that you use and follow their rules. Guideline 6. Fair use is great, but it doesn't magically shield you from copyright law. Fair use is a law that allows you to borrow copyrighted materials for your own projects without a license or permission. But you can only do this for reasons like criticizing or commenting on a given work, news reporting, teaching, and creating projects for school assignments or similar educational purposes. Fair use will generally not be awarded to commercial projects that borrow copyrighted material without permission, because those projects may be detracting from money that should rightfully go to the copyright holder. Class projects, on the other hand, generally will fall under fair use, as long as you don't go on to publish your work in a way that replaces the original source material or tries to make money. Some people say that as long as you only use a certain amount of copyrighted material, you can't get in trouble for it. And legally, that isn't true. The United States Copyright Office has stated, there is no formula to ensure that a predetermined percentage or amount of a work, or specific number of words, lines, pages, copies, may be used without permission. Whether or not your work qualifies as fair use is something that will be determined on a case-by-case basis. Lastly, social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, and others may have additional site-specific rules for getting your content to qualify as fair use. Follow these rules to avoid having your content taken down for copyright reasons. Guideline 7. If you created it, you can use it however and whenever you want. Copyright law is beautiful because it encourages everyone to create their own original works. This helps all of us grow our talents, share our personal ideas and perspectives, and creates a more diverse and interesting cultural atmosphere overall. Ensuring that everything you publish is your own original work also saves you the trouble of buying licenses or making sure that you've followed the rules of fair use. If copyright law gives you a headache, you can avoid it by choosing to only publish your own work instead of borrowing the work of others. Guideline 8. The Holy Ghost will never lead you to act unethically, so when in doubt, follow its guidance. As Moroni chapter 7 verse 13 teaches, that which is of God inviteth and enticeth to do good continually. That means God will never lead us astray. If you ever have questions about copyright that you can't answer, do your own research on the subject, talk to your instructors about it, think about what outcomes would be most fair and ethical, and pray to ask the Lord what He thinks you should do. He has promised to guide us when we seek Him, and He always keeps His promises. Following these guidelines will keep you safe from accidentally committing copyright infringement, and will better prepare you to ethically create content in your career moving forward.